Low grade 12. Now for the dreaded question 4. But it's not as scary as what you think. Although the November 2018 question is a bit more difficult than most. Interface. Let's have a look at the interface. Here we have with combo boxes, 2 of them. One to select the month, other one to select the day of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And remember that combo boxes are numbered from 0, okay? If you look at items, you'll see that January is 0, February is 2, March is 3, and so on. Always remember that. The same with the combo box for days, CMB days. Also, Sunday is 0, Monday is 1, Tuesday is 2. And that is going to be very important information to remember. In 4.1, it's the easy part where you just have to populate our an array. Let's look carefully at what you're given. So, you're given a constant array called AR days, which has abbreviations for the days of the week, 7 of them in the string. You're also given temp customers. But they say here, it's a constant array that only must be used to answer question 4.2 if your code in 4.1 was not successful. So therefore, AR temp customers you don't have to worry about at this stage. AR customers is declared as an array of 1 to 31, maximum 31 of integers. Now there's no counter for the array. Let's have a look. We're going to have to make our own counter. They say a text file called visitors.txt is provided. 365, that's the number of days of a year, so it's a whole year's line, a year of data for all the customers visiting a restaurant from the 1st of January all the way to the 31st of December, and they're in order, but we're not worried about the order so much. But as you can see, every single day of the month, for instance, April has 30 days, it goes up to 30. So you must remember that. So it's got data in like that, with a hashtag and then 177 for the number of visitors for that particular day. 177 one day. Ooh. Anyway, do not change your code, and so on. They say apply good programming techniques and modular design. So let's think about that while we go along. Modular meaning making our own methods, etc. Making at least one method, you know. But we'll see how we're going to do that. The user must select a month from combo CMB months and use a text file to populate AR customers with the data from the selected month. So we're going to choose a month and we're going to pull out the months for that, put out the data for that month. So that's relatively easy. But we must remember that we have to have a global integer counter for AR customers. And then after we've filled the array, then we're going to display a message. So let's go and do that, because that's quite easy. Then choose a month, and if you look at the text file, Jan is spelled Jan and so on. So there won't be any problem finding it in the string. So we're going to read a line and see if Jan is in the line, okay? And then put that into the number 57 into the array. And we need a counter, as I said. R days. I made a counter here called R days, already made it already. It wasn't given, so you get your counter and then set your counter to 0. But we also have to read from a text file, so we need our text file variables, T file, whatever you want to call it, text file data type, S1 line, string, reading it into a string, text file data type, there we go. And R days is a global counter, okay, so over there. So now we must check if the file exists. We have to always do that, even if they don't ask. And visitors.txt. Then we will show message and exit. This is basic stuff that you know from grade 11. Show message, no file. If you don't remember it, now you will. And exit. Okay, excuse my caps lock button is on. Nevertheless, now we're going to go and say assign file, T file, and visitors.txt, and then we will say reset the text file variable, and then we'll say while not end of file, T file do, and then you'll do begin and end, and then you'll put in a read line statement. Read ln from T file into S1 line. Okay, now we're going to go and check if, oh, we never got our stuff from the combo box yet, did we? So let's go and get it. CMB months dot text. So I'm going to call it S month. S month. I must go and put it into variable CMB months dot text. That's fine, it will work. If S month is inside there, how are we going to check if S month is inside S1 line? Well, there's an easy way. If pos of S month in S1 line is not equal to naught, if the position doesn't, if it returns an integer, if pos of this string into this big string over here, S1 line, if it returns a number that's not naught, then we know that it contains that month. So we increment our day. Why? Because we're going to go and put an integer into our array called AR customers. We're going to put an integer in there. It's an integer array, an array of integers. Our days is incremented, and we say AR customers square brackets our days, that box number equals string to int. Well, we haven't actually got our integer yet. We have to go and delete from S1 line, what we read from the text file, from 1 to pos of the hash. We're going to delete all of that from 1 to the hash, and then we'll be left with the number. See? So delete from 1 to, number of characters will be pos of the hash in S1 line. We're deleting all of those things, and we're going to be left with S1 line, which will be a number that we can convert to an int. I mean, it will be a string, a number as a string, which we'll convert to an integer. So we delete, and then we say that. So that's that. That's all you have to do, and this is the end of the while loop. And before the procedure ends, we say show message. Data read successfully, whatever you want to say there. Okay, so there we have it. That's relatively easy, eh? Now we're going to do the difficult part. Let's go and have a look at the difficult part of the question. Use CMB days combo box to select the day of the week. Fine, let's go and select the day of the week while we are. Yeah. We're in 4.2 CMB days. But what are we going to do with that day of the week? We're going to use a select, sorry about the flash, we're going to use a selected day of the week and the populated array AR customers and write code to display a calendar as shown below. Number of customers on each day must be displayed in brackets, and then the day of the week, 1, 2, the day of the month, day 1, day 2, and so on. So that's what it must look like. And they're not giving you any other information at all, which is what makes this a difficult program. Let's see what we've got. So in our combo box, we choose a day of the week, CMB days, okay? Sundays, naught, Mondays, 1, and so on. We've got AR customers filled. There's AR customers filled in 4.1. Our days is our global counter for AR customers. It's either going to be 31 or 30 or 28 or 29, depending on the month. But actually it won't be 28. It'll either be one of those. I mean, it won't be 29. It'll either be one of those. It's not a leap year, so it's 31, 30 or 28, depending on the month that we chose. And then we're going to produce this animal over here. If you look carefully at when you run the program, let's see what happens when you run the program. So we choose a month over here, okay, everyone just click on it and it says, okay, data read. Then we're going to choose a day of the week, that's the month, that month will start for day 1. And then you click on display. When you click on display, can you see they've put a string already over here in the rich edit? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Where did that come from? In the code over here for the button 4.2, you'll see that they're using AR days. So that other variable that they told you about, AR days, you're not going to use in your code. Yeah, that was a little bit of a trick. You're not using AR days. It's really being used for displaying the abbreviation of the days of the week. What you're going to use is the combo box, because I'm looking at the code that's provided. This code is provided. And you check it out and you see, oh, AR day is just to display those days of the week. So you have to know you're not actually going to use AR days. Why? Because we're going to pull out the combo box here and we're going to build a string to go and display in the rich edit. Each time rich edit allows it to add, so we're going to build a string and then display it. Build a string and then display it. What do we build? If, let's say we chose, let's always look at a real life case. Let's say I'm going to choose Tuesday as my starting day. Okay, so Tuesday is my starting day. Right. So over here, in the combo box, Tuesday is a 2. And over here, we're actually in position number 3. We actually want to join, we want to fill up these 2 spaces so we can build a string of 7 altogether. So inside, going through this array, AR customers, we're going to join strings. But if we're going to start on Tuesday, well, let's go and 3, 4, 5. Those cells have to go onto here, not so. So they're going to be there. But before we go to that, before we go and build that string up, we have to join 2 empty spaces to it. So if it's a 3, we want to join 2 empty spaces. But when we get the combo box contents, well, it's actually item index number 2. So we're going to use that item index number 2, in this case, to join 2 spaces, not so. If it was item index number 1, we'll just put 1 space. If it's 0, we don't want to put any spaces in front of our long string that we're going to build inside another loop. So we're going to think about the other loop later, but we want to build a string inside a loop of 7 boxes each time. But before we can start, we look at what number was chosen in the combo box, and then we'll add, for the case of Tuesday, we're going to add 2. So basically, I'm going to leave that number 2 there, because I want to add 2 spaces into a string. So we're going to build a string inside a loop. So I'm going to get a string variable, sline, and I want to build that string using a for loop counter. So I'll have to use a counter. So I'm going to go use a k, and I'll say for k equals 1, 2. To how much? Whatever the combo box entry that was chosen. If we choose Tuesday, then the combo box item index is 2. So I'm going to store that item index into a variable called RD. So I'll say RD equals CMB days dot item index. In this case, I don't want the word Tuesday or Monday or Friday. I want the item index. So for 1 to RD, so if it's Tuesday, I know that RD is going to be 2. So I'm going to say sline. By the way, sline is my string that I'm building, so I better go and initialize it. Whenever you're going to build a string, initialize it to an empty string. And then inside this loop, I'm going to say sline equals the previous sline. And then I'm going to pretend that I'm putting something in there, and then a #9. So that pretend that I'm putting something in is just an empty string. So that will be 2 empty strings separated by #9, and then there will be a #9 added to the end of it. So you will have empty string #9, empty string #9, ready to go and put in the rest of the numbers. So our day in this case was 2, wasn't it? Right. What if RD is 0? What if they choose 0 from the combo box? In other words, they choose Sunday. Well, guess what? This loop will not happen. For k equals 1 to 0, nah. The processor won't complain, it just won't happen. So the for loop won't happen, sline will be an empty string. Like just, nothing. No #9s. So if it's 1, then 1 #line. So for k equals 1 to 1, then you'll have 1 space over here. So in other words, if k is 1, so in other words they choose Monday, so we're going to start filling the numbers over here on Monday, then you'll have 1 space there. So that's the concept. Now we're going to go from 1 to the number of days of the month. And I'm going to use another variable here, and I call it m. For m equals 1 to the number of days, the global count, because I want to go through every single box of AR customers. I don't want to leave out any days. And inside there, I'm going to build groups of 7 strings. Inside here, I want 7 in a line, and S line is going to hold it. So I'm going to say S line equals S line plus AR customers. Well, we have to use AR customers M, but it's not going to be as simple as that, because we have to go and put in the actual day number M itself. So int to string M plus, and then you have to join brackets to that. So we're building a line. There's a bracket, there's a bracket. Then we've got to say, we put in our AR customers K, and then we go and end the close the bracket, and then we have to go and put a #9. Why? Because it has to be spaced so that it can display like this display over there. So, but there's another problem, of course. AR customers is an integer, so you've got to say int to string AR customers M. So I'll use my for loop M going from 1 to R days. Now, if I find that our ID has to be changed up, because ID is actually either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. If it's 0, well, you know, we'd have to increment somewhere, but I'm actually going to add 1 to ID just to make it simple. Increment RD. So in other words, I'm adding 1 to RD. Why? Because I want to get groups of 7, and it's easy for me to count from 1 to 7. I could have left it from 0 to 6, but I didn't want to do that, so I want to just make it more simplified, so that I know that I'm going to put in 7 contents each time. So what's going to happen inside the for loop, we will increment RD. So we're going to start at 1, sorry. Well, if it's 3, if it's 2, so we chose Tuesday, so we're going to start at 3, box number 3. So just for my example here, I'm choosing Tuesday, so we're actually going to start at day 3. I want to add 1 to the combo box, and then I will be on day 3. And day 3 is going to be joining number M. I'll increment RD, and then I'll ask the question, because if I went all the way, you know, from beginning to end, and if we got 7, that's fine, increment RD, then it's 7, RD is 7. Okay, so then we do one more. Do we want it to be 7? If it's incremented and then it's 7, then we have to do 1 more, okay? And then it's 8. But if it's 8, then we know we finished joining the string. So basically what you're doing is you're building S line up. You're building S line up inside the loop. S line is being joined, but you only want to join up to 7 #9 and something in a #9, something in a #9, something in a #9, something in a #9. You only want to do it 7 times. So after you increment RD and you get RD equal to 8, you actually want to start a new line. But you don't want to lose that other line, you've got to display it. So we say already, we have to display it. We build that line up in a fancy way there, as you can see. We have to use M and AR customers M and close the brackets because they want it to look like this. See in the display. And there was no, they say number of customers who visit the restaurant each day must be displayed in brackets, and you must also display the day number. So it's quite a thing, you have to know that you must do that. So that's what we're doing over here. We're joining AR customers, the item from AR, the numbers from AR customers, joining it to actual day number M is going from 1 to 31 or 1 to 28 or 1 to 29, or 1 to 30. So it's joining that day to AR customers and then a space so that we can have them separated nicely. But over here, after we've joined the line, we're incrementing our days. If it's equal to 8, then we're going to actually display in the rich edit RED question 4. We just go and display isline. We've built it, but we're going to go and initialize isline again to nothing, empty string, and then we will say that RD is now 1, because we want to start at Sunday, the first, start a new week. So we'll start at 1. So the tricky part was that the combo box was 0, and we're starting here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could have said 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if I wanted to, but I'm just trying to make it simpler for myself to remember. Now there's a problem here, of course. You must remember we're only displaying if RD equals 8 each time. What if you get to the end? I'll show you. Let's go and see what happens when you run this program. So let's go and choose a month. I'm going to choose December, populate, then I'm going to choose Tuesday. Okay, now as you can see, it only went to 26. That's because RD never got to 7 and then 8. So we actually have to go and what was happening here? Basically, inside the loop they're building a line, but we're only displaying the line when RD equals 8. So outside the loop, we've got to go and just add RED question 4.lines.add. Over here, before the procedure ends, we go and display the line that was not displayed at the end. So let's go and do that now and see if it works. I'm going to use, for this, I'm going to actually use the example May and Friday. So I'm going to choose May now and choose Friday. Oh, I've got to go and click populate. You've got to click populate before you can go and click this one. Right, so let's go and see. Yes, that's 100% correct. Now let's go and try another one. February, starting on Wednesday. So I'm going to choose February and start on Wednesday. Click the button. Now that's a problem because as you can see, our days was now basically not we never actually removed the contents of the array previously. All the other numbers are correct, but our days was now set to something else. So what you have to do in that instance is remember that this is a global variable and you're running the program. Okay. Our days, the array contents basically is changing, but the items in the array doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? You're going through the whole array from M to R days. Maybe you're going to 28, but AR customers M is still being added over here. So we have to make sure that we have some kind of a counter here that's going to stop us from adding an array box that's not our days. Okay, so what you're going to say here is if our days is, it says 28 in the array is like 30 or so on. So we have another counter. What we're going to do here, see, we're building the string, we're incrementing the day. This is for the grouping of the 8 and thing. So the problem is that there are more than 31 days. I mean, there are 31 items in the array, but when you're running the program like we just did now, and then you go and choose another one, and then you're supposed to have a different set of things, even though our days is actually sorted there, and you think, okay, well, you should only read 38 or 28, sorry, you should only read 28 days and not the other 31 boxes that are already filled from the previous month. So that is the issue over there. We are going to our days, that's fine, But the thing is, yeah, this S line is building up with inside the with ID equal to 8, and customers M is still being built up. So customers M is still being added to S line, okay, and that'll be 1, 2, and that's going to go 1 to our days. Our days is supposed to change, it's supposed to basically change to 28. So when we read from the text file, let's go here, reading from the text file, our days are set to 0. I'm going to run this program again and do it properly. Let's go and see. Oh, okay. Right, refreezing mode. Right, let's do this again. February, populate. Okay. And we're going to choose Wednesday. Fine. Display. No, it's fine there. You know, that's perfectly fine. That is 100% correct. But if I go and choose December, populate array, so now our days is 31, okay, and I choose Wednesday and I display, okay, fine. What if I go back and I choose February again, okay, populate the array, then I choose Wednesday. Oh, okay, it does work. Oh, I thought it wasn't working. Okay, fine. Anyway, that's basically as much as I can do for that one, and we'll meet again another